I'm Leta Mach. In this interview series for Co-op Month, which is October, we're talking about cooperatives and what they are all about. In Greenbelt, we have lots of co-ops. We have housing, we have education, the nursery school, financial, the credit union, the supermarket. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting cooperative, a cafe, the New Deal Cafe. And with us today we have Michael Hartman, Amethyst Dwyer, Frank Gervasi, and Meg Haney. And first of all, I want to ask each of them to tell us what they do at the New Deal Cafe. So let's start with Michael.
I'm the president of the board of director. I'm a former audit committee member, and I'm also a volunteer bartender in training.
Okay. We might want to know a little bit more later about how you learned to be a bartender. Okay. Amethyst.
Hi. I'm Amethyst Dwyer. I'm the bar manager of the New Deal Cafe and the music coordinator of the New Deal Cafe. And I'm also a bartender. You can find me there usually on Thursdays and Fridays.
Are you trying to train him?
I am. He's a quick learner so far, so all's good.
It's a challenge.
And Frank?
I'm on the board of directors right now. I was on the audit committee previous, and I do the treasury. So I also get to repair things because I'm Landy, so I do that.
It's good to have a volunteer who can do the repairs. Yeah. Always good. Meg?
Hi, I'm Meg Haney. I'm a bartender. Tuesday night is my night, so come by and say hello. I'm also the arts coordinator for the cafe, and I do the part of the advertising through the news review, the Greenbelt News Review.
Okay. And we oftentimes hear people say that the New Deal Cafe is like the community's living room. And people have sort of a special connection with the New Deal Cafe. How would you describe the cafe, Michael?
Actually, I see the cafe as having many facets. During the day, it's a meeting place for folks, a place to meet for lunch or to have a daytime meeting. After dark, we're a lounge and a restaurant and a bar and a living room and a place to come and read or work on your computer. We've got music, we've got artwork by local artists on the wall, and we have many facets. We have music or poetry or other events 6 nights a week, mostly music, that Amethyst coordinates. And we also have very unique things. We have open mic nights on Thursdays. We have kids open mic on one Sunday per month. On Sundays, we have a Sunday brunch. We also have a meeting place for groups of people. For example, Greenbelt's deaf community meets on Sunday mornings at 10:30 for a brunch. And also we have groups of friends who like to meet at the cafe, either on the patio. And when you're sitting in our patio in Roosevelt Center, people walk by and people say, I was like talking over the back fence. So we have lots of things. I'm sure I forgot some things.
Lots of things going on. Yeah. So, in all of that, Amethyst, what's your favorite part of the New Deal Cafe?
Well, I'm the music coordinator, so I'm a little partial to that. The music selections that we have are very diverse. You know, we have anything from folk music to jazz to blues to world to rock and roll. You name it, we have it. And it's a wonderful place to have that you can actually walk to from your home, you know, especially if you live in the immediate vicinity of Old Greenbelt. And it's a wonderful aspect to be able to bond with in the community, you know, over music. So I'm a little partial to that. So.
And I think, since we're talking about music, didn't the New Deal Cafe do a really well in this voting about the best musical venue? Can you tell us?
It did. It was in 2012. WTOP, the radio station in DC, had a big contest where people would vote on their favorite music venue, and we were kind of like the David and Goliath story. We were up against Merriweather Post, Wolf Trap, the 930 Club, the Strathmore. And people are just very loyal to the New Deal. So people voted, and we actually won by a landslide. It was really amazing. It was,
Very, very amazing.
Yeah.
So not only your favorite part, but everybody's seems to be their favorite part.
it's one of the whole aspect of it. But it's it's a definitely a big part of that.
Hmm. Meg, do you have a favorite part?
I would have to say music, partly, and also the camaraderie of the people that are in the cafe on different nights, and of the people that who work with the cafe. My husband Mike and I bartend on Tuesdays, so we get to bartend for open mic poetry night, which is really, really wonderful to hear the new poets come in. That's really interesting, and so is the pub quiz night, because it brings in a different type of person, and it's just a different feeling and a different vibe, and it's great. And there's a lot of different things to offer.
Hmm. Frank, what do you think of the cafe?
Oh, I love the place, and the friendliness and the music and everything that's been said so far, but also the reel-in meal. We do once a month for the last 7 years. We've had films, independent films, everything from Martin Luther King to the environment to social issues, vegan dieting. We have a vegan meal for the reel-in meal. We had one the other night about voting issues. So that's been going on again for 7 years. We have 3 groups that present that, local Greenbelt groups, Green Vegan Network, the Beaver Dam Creek Watershed Watch Group, which I'm part of, and also the Utopia Film Festival is doing next month's film, and also Green Vegan Networking. So those 4 groups produce these films. Peace and Justice has been doing a lion's share of that as well. Seems like there's a lot of those issues, but we have great issue-related films, and then we have speakers come and talk to people. A lot of times we've had a full house. Sometimes we've been so full we had to move into the city council chambers because we had so many people we couldn't fit in there. So that's probably I would say, if I had to pick a favorite, it's because I've been involved with that since the beginning.
You appeal, the New Deal Cafe appeals to a wide range of people. You offer quite a bit of opportunities for people to find out what's going on. But you're a cooperative, so how does your co-op business work? I mean, you have a board of directors, you can get involved. What exactly makes you a co-op?
I think we're rather unique for a co-op as well, because we're a restaurant, and we are a bar, and we are member owned, and members can join. The benefits of membership are being involved in the community of the New Deal Cafe and voting at our annual meeting for board of directors and for the audit committee, and also voting on bylaws issues, other issues that come up in the community, which is basically the strength of the New Deal Cafe, whether it's the food or the music or the arts, whatever, holding up that whole operation are the members. And the members are supreme in our thoughts, and what we do for the business, for the co-op, is what we feel the membership wants and can benefit from.
How many members do you have? About how many?
About 500.
About 500. Of course, you don't have to be a member in order to come and eat and enjoy the music or to look at the art.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
But it helps.
It certainly does.
It does
very
make
nice.
It does make you feel more a part of it, and I always call it, and it's also I call it a funkified cheers. That's kind of the feeling there that you get when you're there. And the more often you come, the more at home you feel. And I think part of that is because we are a community-owned cooperative, and we're also not-for-profit, which means, we're not doing this to make a lot of money. We put it back into the business, back into the community, such as we sponsor a lot of different things. We're trying to sponsor more and more activities, festivals in the center. We've recently, just this last weekend, we were one of the, we didn't just sponsor, we actually put it on the Blues Festival that happened there. That was a wonderful event. A lot of people worked really hard to put that on, including FONCA, Friends of the New Deal Cafe.
And that brings up a question that I wanted to ask, because it's been confusing to many people. You hear the New Deal Cafe, and then you hear FONCA, Friends of the New Deal Cafe Arts, and people think they're the same thing, but they're not. They're not. You're related. You work together, but can someone tell the audience, what is the relationship between FONCA and the New Deal Cafe?
Well, I think FONCA is more of a support for the New Deal Cafe. They're able to help us sponsor different festivals and like the arts program that we have within the cafe, putting on receptions and doing that kind of thing. So it's they help do that kind of stuff with us.
So they're sort of a help
Well,
you out.
They're
Yes.
also, FONCA is a 501c3
Yes.
and act as a fiduciary agent for the cafe in many ways. The receptions we have artists, we have wine tasting, we have artist receptions and such. So people can make a donation to FONCA and support the cafe in the arts programs. And you can find that all information at our website.
It's tax deductible.
Okay.
Yes,
All
tax
donations,
deductible.
so they really help us in that aspect.
Yeah.
And there are examples of cooperatives around the country who have sort of had that sort of relationship with a 501c3, but then the co-op itself would be maybe even a worker co-op where the workers couldn't do that. They weren't a foundation or a 501c3. So that's not, that does happen, and it helps the organization, obviously. And certainly you know that as treasurer of the board, how important that is.
Oh, yeah. Donations are actually very important. We always get a big boost at the end of the year because we distribute flyers to the entire community, which has coupons, and we get a good response from that. And then they put on they help support, like this festival, they pay for half the T-shirts that were distributed and sold, and things like that. They've been a constant supporter since the very beginning.
And FONCA, acting as our nonprofit agent, has helped us purchase lighting equipment, sound equipment. We have a very large screen that we have at the cafe that we use for Real and Meal and for Utopia when they come. And so these are things that we can purchase through FONCA, and the donations to FONCA are important for us to be able to buy stuff that we wouldn't normally be able to buy.
So that keeps the business going,
It supports the arts program.
and supports the arts program. How do people become a member of the co-op if they do, instead of just coming in and ordering food and looking at the art? What if they want to really be involved? How do you become a member of New Deal Cafe?
You can do that by coming in the cafe at 113 Centerway in
Oh,
Greenbelt,
good.
in Roosevelt Center. You can go to our website at newdealcafe.com, and we have a page for becoming a member and also for donating to FONCA. And on that website is our wonderful information about our history and our calendar. But those are the ways that people can become members.
And if you're interested in finding out what's happening at the cafe, we have an event calendar. So if you go to newdealcafe.com, go to the event section, and we have everything listed on the calendar, along with web links to specific groups and bands and whatnot.
So forth and so on. And then are there responsibilities once you become a member?
Yes. The responsibility is to participate in our annual meeting, that we really encourage that. We have very lively meetings sometimes. Also, members are absolutely invited to our board meetings, which occur once a month on the fourth Monday at the cafe. And we have a very strong group of members who come to our meetings and voice their concerns. You always have a voice at the board meetings, and where the board discusses issues and policy and whatnot. And we've had a lot of interest from our members coming in and advising the board on what they feel as members. And we find that extremely valuable and critical to our deliberations as a board. And so we really encourage our members to come in and join our board meetings.
Okay. And I know you're the president and you're the treasurer. Amethyst and Meg, are you members of the board? Or
No, I'm
No.
not a member of the
No.
board.
how many members does the board have?
We currently have one vacancy, but we have two other board members, Dina Sykes and Nancy Melandri are board members, and we are in the process of filling a vacancy in the board now.
It's a 5-member board.
5-member board,
Yeah.
sure, sure. So what would you, say about the New Deal Cafe and how you've managed to survive? Because I'm thinking, how old are you now?
Going on 20 years.
Going on 20 years. And,
Yeah.
and statistically, small businesses such as yours don't last that long.
Right. I think we've survived through the community and through loyalty. The cafe has definitely financially been through ups and downs over the years. We've come very close to declaring bankruptcy on numerous times, and the community has always risen up to support it. It's amazing. People have taken out personal loans in order to keep the cafe afloat. And right now we're as successful as we ever have been. And so I see the success of this cafe as being a long continuum of many people and hundreds of hours, thousands of volunteer hours through the years have brought it to the place where it is right now.
We have a very rich legacy of volunteerism, which is the foundation of the cafe and the co-op. Members, as Amethyst said, have helped bring the cafe out of the depths and at times, and so we honor the legacy. We remember those who came before us. It's been said we stand on their shoulders, and that's true.
That's true. That's true. Now, how long have you all been involved with the New Deal Cafe? We said it started about 20 years ago, and I think it started, with preparing food in the community center, the city's community center, and then you moved. But were any of you here 20 years ago with the New Deal Cafe? No.
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 Pretty much. I was.
You were.
Not at the very beginning, but I would go to, I had some friends that were part of it. I knew some of the musicians and just neighbors, so I started coming when it was just on the weekends down here.
Right.
In the late 90s, 96. Really it started with a discussion to where to have a party back in the end of 93. Like where in GHI do you have a party to invite enough people? And I couldn't quite get one.
Where's a home that's big enough in GHI for a party?
Exactly.
Yes.
So let's get one. And that was sort of the genesis of it, and it took about a year's worth of talks and so forth. By 95, they were ready to incorporate and start renting the space that became available when this became a community center. So that's how that occurred.
That's how that occurred.
And then it moved over to what had been, I guess, there'd been an antique store or something that was
Right.
kind of
Toy store antique.
Yeah.
At one time, it was
And
also
then
a
the
bank,
video
wasn't
store
it?
was behind where our cafe is now, at the front room. We call it the front room. It started there, and then when the video store went out, and Bob and the music guy, because videos, of course, went up.
Videos went
Yeah.
the way of the internet or whatever.
One of the things that was really important is that we had volunteers who built our kitchen. We had volunteers who built our bar. We had volunteers who paint our walls. We had roof work. We put in a new kitchen. And Frank can speak to that. I mean, and it was all volunteers.
Yeah, basically, that's the way it's been going.
So volunteerism is a really big part of your cooperative, and it's oftentimes a big part of many, many cooperatives. People see that this is a need and they want it, and then they will, they'll put in their sweat equity to see that it survives.
And the more time you put in as a volunteer, the more you feel a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly do. I'm a volunteer as a music coordinator, and professionally, I would say I've done different things in my life, but this is the most fulfilling, deeply fulfilling thing I've ever done.
So the music coordinator and the arts coordinator, those are two important parts of the New Deal Cafe. I can't imagine trying to figure out what to put on the walls and who to have come and play. I don't know, I can't imagine how you do that, but obviously it's working.
Right, I myself have been involved with the cafe for about 2.5 years now. My now husband took me on our second date to the New Deal. He had grown up in Greenbelt, and he was in love with the place. And as soon as I walked in and started meeting everybody, I was also in love with the place. And I met Amethyst, and she said there's ways to get involved, to be a volunteer, and I said I'm in. You know, and so the art for me is new. I've been doing this now for just a couple of months. So, but we do have it on the website through the event calendar, that you can contact me and let me know what kind of art you'd like to put on the walls. We also have 2 glass cases, so people can put in also other types of things like pottery and such. So, but it's fun, you know, and you get a lot of people that are interested, and makes it unique.
I also want to point out that her husband proposed to her at the New Deal.
Yes, he did.
So,
So do you come there for your anniversary every year?
Well, this will be we do for the night he asked me to marry him, yes.
Okay. There are all kinds of anniversaries.
Yes,
That's right, that's
The
right.
night you met, the night you proposed, the night you,
Right.
yeah, right. There are all kinds of anniversaries.
One of the important things also is that our arts program, the artists who exhibit with us are all local artists, and that's in the community. And also, I don't want to overlook our kitchen. Our restaurant manager,
I
Kareem.
wanted to make sure we talked
Yeah,
about the
Kareem.
food because, you know,
Yes.
I like to cook. And I think I make a pretty good hummus, but my husband insists that it's better. Kareem's is better.
Well, yeah, he would have a lot of support in that. And Maria is a wonderful baker, and the recipes, they come up with vegan dishes. As Frank said, for a real meal, we have a vegan buffet, we have vegetarian, we have vegan, we have for omnivores, carnivores, vegetarians, and gluten-free. I mean, we try to be responsive to the needs of our diners, and we do that with music too. We're responsive to the kinds of music that people like. And also, we do get people from all over the region. We have people coming in from Virginia and from Baltimore and everywhere. So it's not just a local Greenbelt establishment. The New Deal Cafe brings people into Greenbelt, and therefore we help other businesses, local businesses, and we partner with them, and we try to involve other businesses and other cooperatives in Greenbelt. So it's a community with capital letters on unity.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, looking to the future, any future plans that we should know about?
I think, going on the same track that we're on, business is better than ever. And, just keep reinvesting into the cafe, maybe helping sponsor more events, teaming up with the Greenbelt Arts Center or the new theater when it's done being remodeled.
Yes.
The Greenbelt Makerspace, there's lots of things I think that we could do.
Right, and hopefully more people will join in, and come by and visit the cafe so they can have that same community feeling, even if they're not living in the community. It's a wonderful environment for that.
And coming up next month is our Rhythm and Drum Festival.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
in September, it's another festival we're sponsoring.
I guess this month, later this month.
Later this month in
okay.
September,
Yeah.
which I guess if this is airing in October, it will have been passed, and it will have been fabulous.
Yes.
The weather is going to be perfect.
Yes.
It was a little disappointing with the Blues Festival. It had started off rainy, but I
Right.
know you moved indoors, and then the sun came out, so you moved outdoors.
Then we moved
so-
outdoors,
Very
and
flexible.
So very flexible,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Very flexible,
Yeah.
yes.
Nothing like a rainy day to make you like the blues.
Exactly.
But one problem we do have is we get crowded on Friday and Saturday nights.
Ah.
I mean, we are pretty much bursting at the seams. If we could expand a little bit, that would be just wonderful.
I'm not.
that's our dream
Yeah.
right
That is
now.
our dream, man. How do we get a little bigger? We're growing.
A bit long range.
Trying to figure out, ways we can do it, like a tiki bar on the roof or something. Just kidding, just
Right.
kidding. But
One thing that, with that in mind, is that we do strongly encourage reservations on Friday and Saturday nights. for them to come in, and we have no cover, no charge. There's nothing like that. But because people have learned that if they reserve a table, then they have a place to sit. And so we encourage reservations, calling up our number at 301-474-5642. And Kareem will take a reservation for dinner. And we have a lot of, one of the things that we want to do is we want to build a little extension to our bar so we have more standing room. So people can put a pint on the shelf.
And I think something that Michael mentioned also is important is that we never charge a cover at the New Deal Cafe. We always we want to make music accessible to the entire community. So what we do is we put tip canisters on all the tables, and we ask people to be as generous as they are able. And it almost always comes out really well. People tend to be very generous.
For the musicians.
For the musicians.
I'm
And
glad to hear
100%
that.
of
That's good.
the money goes directly to the musicians, and frequently they say that they end up making more through tips at the New Deal than they do in other venues in DC.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so that's always really nice to hear, because it's important to us that the musicians are fairly compensated.
And we also have volunteer bartenders in addition to paid bartenders, and the volunteer bartenders are, volunteer their services and add to the camaraderie of the cafe. So.
And the board is a volunteer position.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, yeah, that's generally the case with a cooperative. So yes, thank you to the board for volunteering, and to the membership for helping out with the New Deal Cafe, and also helping support the Roosevelt Center, because you're a key part of that center and keeping it healthy. So I know you've mentioned your website and your phone number before, but before we close out this interview, if you just want to tell people one more time where they can go to find out what's happening at the New Deal Cafe.
Great ways to come into the cafe at 113 Centerway in Greenbelt. And our phone number is 301-474-5642. And our website is newdealcafe.com.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leta.
Thank you.
Doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful series you have going here.
Thank
And we
you.
really want everyone watching to support all of our co-ops, the ones that have been established and the ones that are in the works.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Greenbelt's the place. It's a cooperative community.
Only in Greenbelt.
Greenbelt is